Hey everybody, this is Perch. A couple people have mailed me, so I've got a few mails on this around comics journalism, and in particular, my feelings on comics journalism. And a couple people picked up that I'm pretty negative or cynical on a lot of the comic news sites, that's NEWZ sites, and they want to know why. So I'll read this one mail to you, which is kind of more one of the more critical ones. Most of them are just curious, but it says, "Hey Perch. I can't help but notice that you seem to have a hard disdain for sites like Bleeding Cool, Comics Beat, etc. As I'm sure you know, several of the other YouTube channels, most notably Zach's, regularly attack those people. I hope you're not one of those. I think that I hope you're not one of those. I hate reading stuff like that. It sounds gross, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you just read out loud. Anyway. I don't know. Okay. As I'm sure you know, journalists are being attacked around America. Are they though? I mean, okay. As I'm sure you know, journalists are being attacked around America, and it's definitely become a point in our culture war. So I guess my question is, which side are you on, and why do you attack hardworking people that are just trying to bring news and a little information to comics? Okay. So first off, I'm just gonna, for what it's worth, saying I don't think many of these people are pervading accurate news, and I question their ethics. I don't know if that's an attack, but if you'd like to label it that way, you're welcome to it. And for what it's worth, absolutely abhor violence against people. If you disagree with somebody, the let's go punch them as the option is definitely wrong, bad, full stop, negative. Yeah, I don't care how much a Joy Reid or Tucker Carlson or whoever else pisses you off, going and trying to attack them is hard wrong. And we all know that. Everybody knows this. Let's not be phony people pretending that, we this is a new revelation to us. We all learned this. My kids learned it at, 2, 3 years old. They know. So what is my beef with comic journalism? Well, the main part, I think there's two pieces to it. The basic is that by and large, it's not very good. It heavily relies on listicles. It relies on basically reprinting press releases from the big two. I mean, if you're a smaller company, by the way, if you're if you're Mad Cave, Top Cow, I'm just gonna mush all this stuff together. Dynamite, whatever it happens to be. If you're a company like this, one trick for you, which I'm sure you already know, is if you send the press release about something you're doing, the article kind of already written to a lot of these news sites, and you don't make it sound like a hard press release, put in some little bit of flavor into that, they'll reprint it. In fact, they'll reprint it and give it prominence because you're saving them work. In some cases, some of these sites will love it because they don't have to pay a writer to actually write the article. They'll just kind of use yours, add a little bit. Editors will add a little bit into it, and out it goes. You send an article with like an image or two with it, you'll get a lot of just free press. Now, I don't know if the publicity you're getting is really worth much, but it can be done. But by and large, these sites don't dig. And there's tons of news stories and questions and things that go on that they just won't go into. And the biggest reason why is that a lot of comic news sites begin with kind of one goal in mind: get free comics. And I'm not joking. They start with the idea of getting comps from the publishers to do reviews and to do other things, and that's the main goal. Comps and tickets to shows. Because for a while, and it still happens, I mean, Emerald City Comic Con will give passes to journalists who have comic websites. So to a lot of people, this isn't a business. This isn't an attempt to actually go and get news. It's a goal to get free comics and free passes to cons. That's the goal. And to me, that isn't journalism. That's a fan site. And that's why a lot of these sites read like fan sites. They read like, the people are terrified to give a comic a bad review because they worry about reprisals. And they're right. Marvel has and absolutely will come at you if you decide to publish a negative review. Several sites will tell you that, and it's happened. The comps will suddenly dry up. Marvel will stop talking to you. You'll get put on the bad list of sites. There's a number of comic YouTubers out there that have bigger, kind of the real bigger guys who have, and I've chatted with them lately of like, man, you're saying things I wish I could say, but if I said that, I would never have access to any other people again. And so that's not journalism. That's a fan site with under a cloud of threats. So and I think comics needs journalism. It actually needs people digging into things. It needs kind of that in-depth critical eye to both the books and some of the practices. Some of the practices we've talked about on this channel are hard wrong, and how they pay people, how royalties are pretty much ad hoc, and lots of things that are really shady in this business. In theory, that's what journalism is supposed to expose, shining a light, speaking truth to power, all that kind of stuff. That's what it's supposed to do. So a fan site mouthpiece doesn't help anything. And I think that's a problem. And lately, particularly with sites like Bleeding Cool and The Beat, it's not only is it a mouthpiece, it serves as an attack dog against people who are speaking out. So, I mean, look, and this has gone on for a while. You have when the whole Warren Ellis forums were out there, and people like Heidi McDonald was involved in that. People spoke up saying, I think some of the stuff going on here is wrong, years before what happened to Warren Ellis. And not only did that not get any traction, but those people got attacked. Those people got blocked from message boards by the same journalists that are supposed to be all over that. So I think that's my issue. The second issue is that a couple of these individuals, and Richard Bleeding Cool is one of them, have gone out of their way to attack my friends. And when I say attack, I mean, stalk. I mean, try and gin up kind of hate mobs against them. They've actually taken really proactive steps to actually hurt people. And, there's a lot of, alternate screen names and just very, very dodgy behavior. And so that's outside of comic journalism, more the people. There are some people who have done some really, really just direct shady stuff. And it's kind of taking that kind of attack dog for the industry an extra step, where it targets specific people. It helps, gather and join people together and go after them. And this isn't, by the way, this has been going on for a while. This is not, in the last 4 years, people who got angry about Trump suddenly started to be more proactive. I realize for a lot of you, that's when you became aware of it. But this has been going on for, more than 10 years. There's a reason why a lot of people won't talk or block Rich from coming to events. And it's because he does stuff like this, not just, shady stuff, but really, direct attacks against people. And so that's, and again, he can do whatever he wants. He's a grown man. It's his business. But that's the stuff where it's hard for me to say, nice things about somebody who has directly gone after friends of mine and threatened them and everything else. And I guess the last one is hypocrisy. I get bugged by, hard hypocrisy. Now, the truth of the matter is, if you live long enough, you're going to be a hypocrite about something because your mind changes, your opinions shift, a lot of complexities come in. You're going to do something opposite from what you thought you once did. That's how life works. Nothing inherently wrong with that. But one of the things that irked me is several of these sites gleefully would have features like what was the Bleeding Cool thing? They would kind of promoted photos of upskirt shots of a celebrity, and then a couple years later they're saying this kind of toxic journalism that attacks women is wrong. It's like, that was you. That was you. And to me, that's further than hypocrisy. It wanders into something else. Who was there was and she became a senior editor, maybe she still is, over at Bleeding Cool. Caitlin, I think Caitlin Booth, something like that. Anyway, would write the most absolutely toxic, just dark shit about M. Night Shyamalan. I don't know what Shyamalan did to her. I don't know why, what kind of grudge there was, but would just write the most filthy, angry stuff about him. Just hatred stuff. And look, I hated The Happening too. That movie was awful. And my wife and I are watching Servant, and that is like watching that is somehow like watching paint dry slower than normal. But she would just go after this person, after this person, after this person, and then turn around and talk about, hateful Nazis going after black and brown people. And I'm like, do you know? Yeah, have you seen a picture of Mr. M. Night Shyamalan anytime lately? I mean, so I think there's a hypocrisy element there too that drives me crazy. But those are my reasons. They may be good reasons, maybe bad reasons. You decide. But that's kind of where I'm coming from. But most importantly, to kind of wrap this up, I want a good comic news site, good comics perspective. What I'm doing here on this channel is commentary. I would never in a million years call this news. It's not. It's just commentary. But we need good news. We need it everywhere, quite frankly. But I think comics has a number of problems that just real facts put on the table would go a long way to solve. So there you go. That's my perspective. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for listening.